So there's a group, Make It Right OKC, that is kind of an ad hoc coalition of people, groups that are looking to put some pressure on the city to do better, to address concerns around the police department. And what's going to happen now with Oklahoma City is over the next 20 days, starting Tuesday, they're going to be taking public comments about the budget. They are going to, take emails, texts. You can check out a website and submit a public comment. You can also email them. Anyway, I think I said that. A lot of ways to submit public comment, but the deal is like they want to hear from the public. They want to get feedback. So Make It Right's encouraging people, helping to improve that process. The city, who I'm generally happy with city services. I think Oklahoma City is very good at a lot of stuff. They rolled this out at the last damn minute though, and it's been hard to figure out like how they want us doing stuff. So anyway, Make It Right OKC put together a handy dandy graphic. You can check it out. But what I think the city really needs to hear is stories. Like they need to hear your experiences. I mean, I haven't put it out too much in the public yet. But I mean, I had a friend that went through a mental health addiction crisis over a year ago. It was freaking horrible. Like there was no aspect of this that was any good. You know, the cops were all right. I think more because it was a white woman that they were dealing with and not, someone who didn't have any sort of record. But they could have. I mean, like they could have criminalized the situation very easily. And it would have done absolutely nothing to improve what we went through. And just trying to get to social services was horrible. And I know like executive directors of like most of the major nonprofits. I know like community health centers, and it was still very difficult to get served in a way that felt good in any way. So I can only imagine what lower income people and families are going through. And it's a crisis. Like it is a crisis, and we should do something different about it. The city should do something different about it. And if they're not, they should be advocating for the state to do more about it, or whoever. It's going to be a team effort.
Yeah, because it's a community crisis. It is
Right.
a nationwide crisis. I think a lot of people who are outside the personal experiences of these events look at it as an individual's crisis. They look at it, as something that that person is going through and not about, what the community is doing to, continue these, to perpetuate these stereotypes that are more harmful, and things like that. Like I saw an graphic that was like in the 1980s you had to create the Joker by like throwing him in toxic waste, and then
Yeah,
in
yeah.
like in the 2019 or 2020 you like put him into society and it creates the Joker. Like society is perpetuating harmful environments for these people. It's hard to communicate what we need. It's hard to, see ourselves in like normal and like I use these terms. I am bipolar. So I have like very difficult mental illness that I have struggled with in my life. And so it's like it's really harmful when people like will say, "Oh, I'm OCD," or "I'm bipolar." Like this is stuff that we are actively perpetuating that causes people to have an inability to communicate effectively what they're experiencing to mental health professionals, much less policemen and police officers.
Yeah. And to just expand on the story for a second, I mean, like what the situation ends up being for a lot of families is you have a person who's going through a crisis. They can't stay where they're at. Other family can't take them in. And so by individualizing the problem, you actually make it significantly worse because, I've got young children. Like, we can't take somebody who's going through a, major
Yeah.
mental health addiction crisis. Like it's not a good setup. So, but you care about your family member and you want them to be somewhere where they can be safe and have help. And there's like millions of families going through this. Like
Right.
maybe we should build systems that address that. So
Well, and those family members that do have those people in their lives that have the ability to have family members step in like that are people who, okay, well, like my mom doesn't work, or
Right.
oh, this is like there are people who are not living paycheck to paycheck, hourly by hourly. It's just like privileged people who have that ability for family members to step in and be that primary caregiver, to be that primary voice. Like, I've had moments in my life where it's like, Allison cannot be alone. And that takes sacrificing from my support system to say, okay, I'm not going to go to work this day, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to stay home for this. And people don't always have that luxury.
Yeah. No. And so for whatever reason, this is like a hard concept for policymakers to get. And their answer is just to fund more and more police officers. So anyway, check out the graphic, check out Make It Right OKC, make your voice heard if you're in the OKC area. It is very important.